everyone, welcome to the next video in this Islands series from Small Victories by Johanna Basford. We have a very mysterious looking building to do today. Let's come in and have a good old look. So we have a little bit of water and bits and pieces, but look at the building. We have a mysterious magical smoke coming from, maybe it's not magic, but I want it to be. But first things first, we start with the water. I'm having a little think. I'm just gonna, sorry, I just put my hand over there. I'm just gonna hold the page down a bit so I can get myself organised. There we go. I've got a book underneath and it's making the page a bit odd, but I think it's better than not. Right, what should we do for our water? I am thinking, let's start with a blue. I'm going to start with this blue. It's a little bit darker than we've been using. This is Blue Horizon. But I'm going to, it's a bit blunt. I'm just going to sharpen it. I'm going to use it quite gently. Don't want our water to be too dark. But we'll just, yeah. And I'm going to put a fairly even layer on to start with. And while I'm doing this, I'm sort of having a little peep at our cluster of buildings. I can't work out, is it all one building or is it a mix of buildings? We've got different roofs, different stones and things. Maybe they are different buildings. I'm just going to get into that bit. There we go. Yeah, maybe they are different buildings, so maybe we'll do them different colours. I don't know. Have a little think while we're doing. Let's get this water done. Getting hungry. I'm actually thinking about lunch. It's 11:30. I've got some black olives, so they're sort of reddish, but call them black, don't they, in the fridge. And I'm wondering whether to smush them onto some toast. You know, sort of chop them, make like a tapenade almost, but sounds really posh, but it won't be when I make it. It'll just be some olives smushed onto some toast. I think the everglade might be quite a good colour. It's a slightly greeny blue. We may have used that already, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to use this a little bit on top, but I might do it in little patches and see how it looks rather than evenly doing it. It might just look like I've made a mess. So we'll see. Oh, stomach's gurgling. Gurgle, gurgle. Wants to make a little star appearance in the video. Oh dear. I'm going to make some of these bits quite intense with our everglade and some not so much so. Yeah, it's quite patchy and I like that. I think it looks more like we've got some areas of deep water and some areas of less deep water. However, there's a bit too much white paper showing through, so I'm just having a look at my skin tones to see what I can put in to just cover those. And I want something reasonably pale. I'm going to go for this olive gold. It's got a slight greeny tinge to it. I'm trying to just keep you in the middle. And I'm going to put that in some of the areas where there's a little bit too much paper for my liking, and it's going to give it a murky but warm look. It might look a bit weird. No, I'm okay with that. I don't think it looks too weird. Right. Next we've got trees. I'm going to do the trees. Let's pick some greens we haven't used. Trying to think. I don't know what we have used. No idea. Oh well, I'll just pick some greens. I'm going to pick the Grub Green first. And I'm going to do this little triangular tree here. Let's try and find a sharp end to my pencil. Oh, this is quite a pale green, isn't it? It's quite like a leaf green. It's quite pretty though. It's not normally what a colour I would use for that shape of tree. I always think of that shape of tree, so I've got to wipe my nose, as a sort of evergreen, and therefore needs to be a bluey green, but I don't know why I think that. Our next tree I'm going to do in this green. This is the Toxic Green from the spider set. It's well used. Now I understand that it is possible to buy open stock Black Widow pencils from the Black Widow's Facebook page, but I've never tried, but maybe I should. Right, where should we go next? Just having a look. Let's use the Irish green. I'm going to use a mix, I think. Again, Scorpion. I think I do each tree a different colour. These look like Christmas trees, which pleases me, even though it's not anywhere near Christmas. I miss Christmas. It feels like it wasn't that long ago. I just like the lights and the fact that people are on holiday, although my poor boys had lots and lots of work to do over Christmas. They haven't really had a holiday, but they will have a long summer holiday, so I just hope they can keep going until then. I am going to use this green. This is the Venom from the Cobra set. Yeah, they've got, you know, they start straight back and straight back into work. But there we go. I guess it sort of prepares them for work in a way, although I really hope that they find themselves in a job where they can switch off in the evenings. Husband finds that almost impossible. I've had some jobs where I could, in fact, when I wasn't, this is charcoal. I'm going to use this for all the roofs, I think. I'm going to put them all the same. Yeah, when I worked, when I was employed, I rarely worried about work outside of work. It was mainly the people, the office politics that I found difficult. You know, my sisters always said, oh, it's all lovely, everyone's always nice. And I was like, well, lucky you, because I have worked with a bullying boss and she bullied everyone. And I've worked with people who were rude to me and things like that, you know. So I'm trying to make it a little bit darker just along each edge, and then it helps make this roof look a little bit more rounded. This one not so much so. So yes, but once I've been self-employed for a really long time, probably 20 years, and it's so nice. You have to deal with people. I mean, some self-employed people do. I'm going to colour each tile a little bit darker at the top than the bottom. Even down here, a little bit darker at the top. Yes, it's much better being on my own, I find. But then I'm not a hugely sociable person. Some people are. Some people like being with people all the time. I'm very happy being on my own. Obviously, I am lucky enough that I don't live alone. I think if I lived alone and worked alone, it might be tricky, but I don't. So I find it suits me very well. But I know not everyone has the luxury of being able to do this. You know, I've done so many different jobs since even before I was self-employed. When I was employed, I did a lot of different things because I got a qualification in psychology. That was what I did my degree and my master's in. Could not find a job, so I immediately left uni. I went straight to work in an office and doing like data entry, they call it. I'm just trying to decide whether to cut. I think I will colour this bit in. Now I said, and this bit, I wasn't going to do them matching, but I wanted the roofs to match, and now I think it might look better if I match it. Let's do the windows and give it a quick thought. So so I started off doing a data entry job. This is called Yellow Sand. I'm going to do the windows. For a building society, and then I got I was temping. I got offered a permanent role there doing like an administration, I guess you could call it. I haven't done the tree trunks. I'm going to do them before I forget. What sort of colour? I'm going to use this one. It's called Negra. It's from the Skin Tone. But that job I didn't really like, and I left to go back to university and do my master's in psychology. When I finished my master's, I wasn't qualified enough to get a job in psychology, believe it or not. I'm going to use some sort of skin tones from my houses. It might sound a bit strange, but I rather think they look a little bit brick-like sometimes. I'm just going to sharpen the rust is where I'm going to start. Oh, I need to sharpen even more. So I'm going to do it all in the rust and see where we go. So yes, I couldn't get a job in psychology, so I got a job working for, let me think, where was I working? Oh, for a building society, dealing with accounts, you know, savings accounts, that sort of thing. And that's where I had the boss that bullied everybody. I was there for nearly a year. I did get offered a permanent job in the end there as well, which I took, and then I left because I met my husband, and I moved in with him, and we moved to a different, he lived in a different part of the country, so I moved in with him. I was quite happy to give it that job. However, at the time I was also, I'm just trying to decide what to do with this. I'm going to try and, no, I can't layer it up, I need a darker colour. I think I'm going to use this colour. This is called the Sherbet darker tone. I'm just going to sharpen. So at the time I was actually doing some lecturing work in psychology. I had done a little bit teaching a part of a degree course, and then I started teaching a GCSE course at a different college, not a university, it's a college, but I had to give that up because I moved. And then I did all sorts of temporary jobs for a while. I'm going to go around the edge, I think, of each brick. I worked as a receptionist, covered people for sick pay, data entry, administration, all sorts of different things, until I worked for a what's it called, like a company that does surveys for people. I don't know, anyway, it did all sorts of things. I'm going to do the door in Brownwood, I think. Yeah, let's go for this colour. This is the mud. And did that. I did 2 bouts for them, and I found this little bush here I'm going to do next. I found, it was quite a nice job really. It was a very small company. Forest. It had 1, 2, 3, 4 of us in one room and 2 people in the other room, and the company owner used to come in on a Friday. That was it. And he didn't do any work, he just came in to catch up. It was sort of a mini meeting, but it wasn't really, he just had a natter, you know, it was so small. And they offered me a permanent job because someone left because they had a baby, but I'd also just found a permanent job somewhere else. I'm trying to decide whether to do these. I think I'm going to do these sort of plateaus in brown and then the rocks in grey. That's my plan. I'm going to do this, use this olive brown skin tone and see how it looks. But I'd also got offered a temp to perm job for another company which was more money. So I went to that job instead, and there I was an assistant administrator. They did, it was a cabling company. They were putting in network cables, at a time when internet was just sort of taking off really, and I worked for them for quite a while, and I worked for them permanently and got quite a high salary. Just building up the colour here in the background of that one. It's the same colour as this. I'm just going to put a little more at the bottom. And yeah, worked for them for a year or so, got married, continued working for them, and then we decided we wanted to buy a house, and we couldn't afford to buy one where we lived. And it was too close to London, everything was very expensive. I'm going to try the dim grey for these rocks. I don't know if it worked, just give it a sharpen. It's Cobra set. Oh, it's broken in my sharpener. Oh, my sharpener's really full. Hold on a minute, I have to go and empty it. Right, I have sharpened my dim grey. Right, yes, so when I was in that job where I got married, my boss left and I got promoted. I was a project coordinator, and it was quite enjoyable actually, that job. Wasn't stressful. Some other people got stressed, but I didn't. I was very much in control of my part of the job. I was very fast and efficient. It sounds big-headed, but you know, I always had plenty of time. I'm going to use the Black Widow, the black, just to go around these a little bit. So yeah, so it was always good. Even though when my boss left and I took over, I was his administrator, a sort of deputy, and I never got anyone to do that for me, and I could just do it because I think the workload dropped a little bit, which helped. Right, before we do the smoke, I'm looking at these windows and I'm not very happy. They're not standing out enough. I'm going to put a little bit of orange around the edge of each one just to make them glow a bit. You don't have to do this. Have a look, see if you like it. I'm using the burnt orange from the Scorpion set. So yes, when we bought our house, and so I gave up that job when we moved. My husband was lucky because he was working in London and could still commute, and also only once a week he was able to work from home most of the time, so that was useful. Anyway, I'm pondering the smoke. I want to make it look magical, and I'm going to do it in purple haze. You can do yours whatever colour you like. I started looking for work when we bought our house and moved. We had a new mortgage to pay and money was quite tight, but I couldn't find anything, so I became self-employed. I started a publishing company, sold ebooks, a lot that I'd written but some that other people had written. I got into selling art prints as well, and I bought a big printer and I was selling prints in A4 and A3. Now I'm going to grab some white and do a bit in the water, and then I became wrote a money blog. I'm just going to get this pen working, and made some money there from sort of sponsored posts and things. Then I became a freelance writer. Then I started selling second-hand books as well as writing. I'm just going to brush this off and have a look at it. Then I started making YouTube videos. So I have moved my business around a lot. We're not really in the middle, are we? There we go. I think I am done with that one. I quite like the magical purple smoke coming out of quite a plain looking building. I think it's quite fun, but you might want to not do it that way. It's completely up to you, but I'm happy with that one. So I think I am going to make that do. I think I finished telling you my job history. You've had my CV. You can decide if you want to employ me. No, I'm quite happy doing this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. There we go, let's move that out of shot. Hope that you have a really super day, and yeah, happy colouring.